In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace your window regulator on your Chevy Colorado. It's located in your driver's side door. We're going to remove our screws out of the door panel first, using a Phillips head. There's another one behind your interior door handle. There's another one right here. Phillips head again. Next, we're going to take this off. We're going to use a trim tool to do that. You're just going to pop it out, pull it out like that, and set it aside. So you want to go along the edge and unpop the panel. There's little plastic grommets that are holding the panel on. So you're going to use a trim tool and run it along the edge. Once they're all undone, you're going to grab onto the door handle and pick it up. Make sure you pull the door handle towards you and pick it up the rest of the way. You're going to have some wiring harnesses behind here. You're going to disconnect this wiring harness, push it on the tab, and pull it out. And now you'll have a little bit more room to get to the switch right here. Now you're going to push up on your switch here and pull this out, unhook it, and then you can access the connectors on the back. So I'm holding the door panel up with my knee underneath, and as I do that, I'm going to unplug my connectors. Push in on those tabs. Last one here. Those harnesses will go through and you can take the panel off. Now we're going to put our switch back on our harness so we can control the regulator if needed. If yours is broken, obviously you're not going to be able to do this. Now we're going to remove our plastic weather stripping. You are going to reuse this sticky stuff, so do whatever you need to. Just keep following it around and take the whole thing off. Be careful of your wires. At this point, you can leave the rest hanging or you can take the whole thing off, whatever's easier for you. I'm going to take mine all the way off. Just get it out of my way. And set it aside. I'm going to take out our speaker now using a Phillips head. Just pull it down and out. Disconnect the wire by pushing in on this tab and unplugging it. Before taking the regulator out, you're going to want to adjust the window so you can see these bolts. I always put a piece of wood between the bottom of the door panel and where the window is when it's low like this, so I suggest doing that, or you can tape up your window so it doesn't go anywhere. Now we're going to use a 10mm socket, and we're going to take out these two bolts here before taking out the bolts in the door. These bolts are going to release the window from the regulator. Next, we're going to take out these two nuts. All of these, I'm using a 10mm socket. Get your switch out of the way and your interior door handle. And we're going to go for these 4 spots. Again, using a 10mm socket. Just make sure you have a hand on that window just in case. Now we're going to remove the regulator out of this hole here. There's a stud that holds it in place. Just push it out and let it drop. And at this point you are going to move the window up just to get it out of the way. Push it down in the connector and remove it. And now we're going to take it all out. I would use the big hole on the bottom here. And pull it out. Now we're going to transfer our motor over to our regulator. To do that, you're going to use a Phillips head screwdriver, a pretty big one. And you're going to undo your screws. Before you take off your motor, however, I want you to make a mental note of how many teeth are showing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And make sure you line this up with the same amount, just in case. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It'll make installation much easier. Now you can finish taking your screws out. Now we're going to transfer our motor over. To do that, you're going to pick up. Line up the holes. And also make sure the teeth are lined up with the teeth here. So the teeth on the motor line up. Once you got your 3 holes lined up, you're going to get your screws started. Tighten these down. Make sure they're very tight. And now we can install this into the car. Now we're going to install a regulator with motor. You need to collapse it completely, slide it in. The little skinny bracket, the shorter one, fits right here. So make sure you slide that in. And that will help support things. I'm just going to stop my nuts over here. I'm not going to tighten them down, just start them. Let go of that. Now we're going to line up our motor. To do that, you're going to get the bolt holes lined up with the holes All right, so now your job is to line up the motor bolt holes. Once you see one, it'll be a lot easier. So I have this one lined up, and this one's right below. So I'm going to stop my bolt here. You may have a stud on yours. If you do, put the stud through. Otherwise, if you don't, you use a bolt. Now you can put the rest in, and you just may need to move this up and down to make it line up correctly. Once you get these all started, we're going to snug them up. Once we snug these up, we're going to plug in our motor, and then we're going to lower the regulator so that the window can line up where it was. So plug in your motor. I have my piece of wood here, and I'm just going to lower the motor down, and this regulator should go down to about here. So now we're going to put our regulator window down, as if the window is connected. And you just want to make sure you can access that hole. You can access where the bolt goes through this hole like you did before. Go a little bit more. I'm going to go a tiny bit up. Actually, that's perfect. So you want to be able to see where your bolt is here and here. Now we can shut the key off. Once you have your regulator in place and you can access that hole, you're going to lower your window down. I took out my wood so it doesn't get in the way. And you're just going to line it up. You can actually kind of rest it there if you want to. And get your bolt started. Feed the bolt through and get it started on this side. Snug it up. And you gotta snug up these two on the top. I'm going to torque all our bolts to 80 inch-pounds, starting here. Work my way down. Now I'm going to do my 4 on the motor. And I'll do this last one here. Now we're going to plug our speaker in. And feed it through these 2 holes. Push it up. And you can get your screw started. Tighten it down. And now we're going to put our plastic film over after I disconnect the switch. So remove your connectors one last time. And we'll put our film on. We're gonna start our film over here, work our way over. Make sure you pull your interior door handle out and your harnesses. Keep lining it up, follow its path. Make sure you stay where it was. If yours doesn't stick, you can always add silicone and let it dry or tape. Now you're gonna plug in there. Now we're gonna put our door panel on. So what you're gonna do is make sure this part of the handle is through. You're gonna hook this onto here and also pull your harness up into where the door switch goes. You're gonna tip it towards the door. Make sure your handle's through, make sure you got your harness through, and push it down into where the window is. Make sure that your handle is pushed in and locked in where it belongs, or things won't line up very well. Once you get that lip in where it belongs, it should meet with the other weather stripping. That's how you know you're in. And now you can push in where the push pins are and pop it back onto the door. All right, now we're gonna put all our connectors in. Just match up the right size. Push it down into the space it lives. You're gonna go in this way on a downward motion and then snap it into place. Now we're gonna put our door handle cover in, slide it in behind the door handle. Make sure it's snapped into place, make sure your door handle works. Let's start putting our screws in. One where the door handle lives. Tighten it down, and then there's two here. Snug them up, and now you're good to go.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.